Okay, so we're going to look at some basic coding in XCode and how it works. I'm still learning myself, so I'm writing these tutorials as I go. We're going to do a single view application for this one. You may already have an application you want to add this into. I'm going to cancel that because I have mine running in the background here. So we're going to go to the storyboard and begin by just adding a view controller. What we're going to do in this is have two buttons that have assigned code that change an image. So what you need to do is when you have a view, its code is controlled by the .h and the .m files, which you know the h is your variables and the m contains most of your code, which is your implementation file. You may want different code files or such for different views. You can do this by adding new header and implementation files by dragging this into your documents, and then what you have to do, alternatively, you could go file, new file, and then what you have to do is tell the view that it's going to be controlled by this code. So if we click on the view here, you need to go to the view controller at the top, and then this tab here is the identity inspector. Press the down arrow, and we're going to choose first demo view controller. So this basically means it's going to be controlled by this file here, for this view, and you could do this differently for different views. So once you've assigned it that, what we need to do is add some code. So we're going to begin by going to the H file, and we're going to add in our variables. So after the UI view controller, we're going to add open curly bracket, give us a bit of space by hitting enter. First of all, we're going to do an IB outlet. An IB outlet is sort of an object that can be modified, and we're just going to give it a name for now. So what we're going to do is there's an image view that we're going to be changing. That's the type of object it is. And the variable name, so we get space star, is going to be change image. And you end every line with a semicolon. If you don't put a semicolon, it just keeps reading the code until it finds one. So you're telling it that that's sort of one section of code. After you've closed the curly brackets, we're also going to have some actions. So we have IB action. So it's dash, open bracket, IB action, close bracket, and then just the name of the variables. We're not going to tell the variables what they're doing. This is just telling you the name of the variables. Sorry, it's IB action. We'll tell the code what we want these variables to be doing in just a moment, but we need to let them know that these variables exist first. So semicolon at the end of each of those, and that's what you need to do in your header files. So we've got three variables here: the change image variable, which we know is a UI image view object, and two actions, which are going to be first image view and second image view. So we could go down to the M file, which is your implementation file, and under implementation here, we're going to add our code. So we don't need anything for the view for the outlet, because that's just assigning a variable to an object. So if you do dash open bracket IB action, close bracket, and then we're going to do our first one, which was called first image view. Do space and then open your curly brackets and drop yourself down a line. Now what we're going to do is we're going to say the UI image, and we're going to call this. We've got to give a name that it can change. So we're going to call it the variable that changes. Let's call it the variable that changes. A bit long, but there we go. And then hit space equals space again. Open square brackets. So the UI image. So capital U, capital I, and capital I again. And then we're going to call it image named. Opened. Colon. Then @ sign. And the name of our image file in speech marks. So we're going to have iPhone.jpg. And close your square brackets and then semicolon to end the line. We've chosen iPhone.jpg here. You have to add the files into here. I've got another tutorial to show you how to add files. It's pretty simple. Right click on supporting files and add file to my first demo. So iPhone.jpg and MacBook Pro.jpg are the two images we're going to be using. So next line of code, so you hit enter, open your square brackets, and we're going to do change image, set image, the variable that changes. So we're going to change the variable that changes to this image. So what this piece of code here tells us is it's going to do the action. I forgot the capital A there. So when it has the action first image view, it wants to change the UI image with the name, the variable that changes, to become an image named this. And it changes to set that image to the variable that changes. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing again, but this time it's going to be a different variable and a different image. So you'll see how this comes together in just a second. So second image view is going to be This time we're not going to have iPhone, we're going to have MacBook Pro, bookpro.jpg. So the variable that changes is going to be the variable that changes. So you can see each time it's changing the variable that changes to its own image, and it sets the image to the variable that changes. So it's setting, change image, and change image, if we go back to our header file, the change image is the name of our object UI controller here. So that's how it's working. What we need to do now is assign these actions to the objects. So we go back to our storyboard. We're going to need to go to objects, and we're going to need to add, first of all, let's add an image view. So if we grab image view and just drag it in, I don't want it all full screen. So let's make it in the middle there, make it a bit wider. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to choose to change at the top right here. I'm going to not have scale to fit, I'm going to have aspect fit. So it will always fit, and it will maintain its right ratio so it doesn't look obscured. Then what we're going to need to do the two buttons which we're going to assign to these IB actions. So we can have our first button and our second button. Just double click on these to change the names. So change to image 1, and we can double click in the second one, change to image 2. Now if we go back up to click on the demo first view controller at the top left here, and then go to the far right last tab, you'll see our actions and our outlets. So these are the ones we've coded, and it's picked them up. Now this is where the magic happens in XCode. What you need to do is you just click and hold or control click from the dot here from change image to the object that we want to assign that outlet to. So we're going to change that, and you can see that change image is image view, and when you highlight it, it highlights the object in our view controller here as well. So next we want to have the actions assigned to these buttons. So we again control click or hold and click from first image view to the button. Remember, we let go, we have different options of when it's been touched. Touch up inside is the most popular. It means you touch it, but if you drag your finger out of the button before you let go, it's going to cancel the option. So it gives the user the option to cancel. So we do touch up inside, it's the most common one that's used, and the same again for button 2, touch up inside. So we've assigned these actions to our buttons, and it knows what it's changing because the variable is here, and we've assigned it to the object. So we go ahead and run this. You can see build succeeded, which means your code's right. If you miss any semicolons or mess a bit of code up, it'll prompt you, and the debugging's pretty good in XCode for beginners. So if we bring up the simulator here, it's going to build it. You can see it looks very, very much like our storyboard. And when we click on these, it's going to do the code. So we've changed to image 1, our first image appears, and change to image 2, and our second image appears. And you can keep changing these as many times as you want. If I show you the touch up, so I've clicked down at the moment, and if I touch up outside, and it doesn't do it. Okay, it didn't that time actually. The first time it did, but there we go. So I hope this has added some stuff up for you about how the H&M files sort of work with storyboards to create code. I'm still learning myself, as I said, but subscribe, and I'll teach you as I learn. Thanks for watching.